is going on, everybody? King Recon, aka, according to a comment that I received within the last chapter reaction, Kizaru Recon? Borsellino Recon? Yeah, I'm never beating any of these allegations, man. Vegapunk Recon? Saint Figurelink Recon? Admiral Recon? I'm good! I'm good. I'm being associated with the greats. They've got me over here with the greats. Like, yo, your boy is eating. Mid-Egghead Island, no chapter this week, which is why this is coming out so late. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be eating good, man. Yo, chapter next week, another Gear 5 episode, and a live action in 1 week. And that's just over here on the anime and manga side of things, right? Or even just the One Piece side of things. Everything else is popping off too. But man, Armored Core 6 comes out this week. Persona 3 Reload looks phenomenal. I was like, whoa, bro, the music had your boy juking. Oh man, I was like, yeah. And then Sea of Stars dropping the week after that, or I think the same week as the One Piece stuff. And then the week after that, Starfield. Like, son, I'm gonna be eating, man. Like, come on, man. We're good. So before we get into the awesome chapter 1090, getting us right back into the Egghead Awesome Sauce, I have some live action stuff to go through here today, man. One of them thanks to Akash Panda, and another was sent to me, I believe it was by Ryro. But it is two live action things. One of them is called Inside the Story, and the other one is the One Piece cast answers questions, right? So I don't know, like I always say when it comes to this type of stuff, if they'll let me show the footage, but I'm gonna watch it, I'll try it, and then we'll go out from there. So let's go with the Inside the Story first. I'm so excited for this Netflix adaptation, y'all. Like, I can't believe we're a week out from the Netflix adaptation of the best-selling manga in history. So let's go right into it. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
I'm
1, 2, better believe you are.
Since I was a kid, the sea's been calling.
I think the One Piece live action will be very exciting for everyone to see your favorite characters and world come to life.
Sets,
for
man.
people who don't know this story, they can experience it for the first time.
That's the most important thing for me, man.
One Piece
People who have never gotten into the series. Woo! Did you see that? Zoro!
The ultimate treasure, the One Piece, and I will become king of the pirates.
It's about adventure with our core group, the Straw Hats. This amazing found family.
We haven't sailed together very long, but
Which one's Arlong?
It's such an important story to chase after your dreams and stand up for what you think is right.
For this series, we wanted to bring the manga created by Oda Sensei into a new medium and to new
Matt
audiences.
Owens.
The original IP material is the thing that makes it so great, and all of us want to honor that.
Finding Luffy was such a journey because he is the center of the show. And in casting of Inyaki...
Dude, Baratier looks so cool, man.
Monkey D. Luffy, he's a big dreamer. He's so cheerful and he
Say it,
loves
Inaki.
adventure.
Just say he's the greatest of all time. We'll get
A lot of
it.
the same values.
I get it. The people get it.
Has the ability to turn his body into rubber.
Ooh! You felt the impact?
after what you want seems too easy, then you're on the wrong path.
One Piece is very much a stunt-driven show. Makenu comes with a style of his own already, very well versed in katana.
And Zoro's Arlong Park outfit goes
I
crazy,
grew
man.
up with One Piece, and Zoro has always been my favorite character.
Come on, tough guy, 3 swords?
It's an honor to be wearing those swords.
So that's where it goes.
Nami,
Let's go.
obviously biased, is my favorite. She's the cool, calm, collected cat burglar of the group.
She's
Our
kind of
Nami,
like an
yeah.
older sister surrounded by a group of younger brothers.
Careful
Truly.
with that.
I don't work for you.
It's been truly amazing.
The Straw
playing this
Hat,
role.
bro.
What's up? Fire that cat down!
Or how about we sail away as fast as we can?
Usopp is the sniper. He's the storyteller, in charge of keeping everyone's spirits.
He is the
up.
storyteller.
He
I
does
love how
have a
they
grace about him.
emphasize
Because
that.
He's such a goofy person. It's almost effortless for him to transition into Usopp.
Apologies, madam, I didn't see you there. Perhaps you'd like something sweet for someone sweet.
Sanji is my favorite of the Straw Hats.
Rawness and swag?
Is very much about people.
The Sauce Master?
Learn how to cook and fight.
Mr. Prince?
This is gonna be fun.
But Oda-san has created this entire world that is so special and so unique. I think when the show airs, it'll be nothing like you've ever seen.
Maybe we should skip right to the finale.
Buggy, bro.
I hope existing One Piece fans see the love that went into this. Oda Sensei and his team have
I
been
most
with us
certainly
the
see the
entire
love, man.
time. That collaboration has birthed something really special.
Now we're talking.
The spirit of One Piece is so strong in this.
I've always been a pirate.
We're all putting our heart and passion into this. I'm really proud of what we've done.
We're bringing the best parts of the manga.
Bro, Miyagi was so cold, bro. I'm here, man. I'm up. I'm up. I can't wait for this next week, bro. Dude, it's just, you want to dive in because you get to see you just see the amount of love that's poured into this project, man. It's like it's never worked before, right? The live action stuff. But when you see this, it's like, how can it not work this time, man? It's crazy. So now we're going to go into One Piece Cast Answers 50 of the most Googled questions about the anime and the manga. Oh, this should be fun. Especially knowing how they are. This should be a lot of fun. 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
We're the cast of One Piece, and today we have to answer 50 of the most asked questions about the show. Why are we waiting for? I had to do it, Emily.
Let's do it.
What is the One Piece? Theory is that the One Piece must be a taco. It
A
only
taco?
makes sense.
That's
Why?
Luffy for real.
Are they called the Straw Hat Pirates?
Luffy is our captain. He wears a straw hat. And we
Say
are
it
the Straw
again,
Hat
Usopp.
Pirates.
Luffy is our captain.
Pirates.
Straw Hat Pirates do on the ship. Okay, so I think on a normal day in the Going Merry, Luffy, he steals food from the kitchen.
Oh wait, cute. This is totally not what I thought we were just gonna say, like our jobs. But I love you. I love you diving into like, what's his daily life
What's his
like?
daily
Right.
life?
Right.
I'm the captain of the ship.
Yeah, he's the captain, yo. Like, let the man do his thing.
I look for the best spots on the ship to sleep, take a nap. Right hand man.
The first
can
mate,
do whatever I
right?
want.
Facts.
Usopp takes care of the ship.
And I'm the
Facts. Facts.
Ami's tattoo represent.
First one is Arlong. Second one is the pinwheel, and also the tangerine. So it's a representation of her family and her home.
Very well said. So
What's the
cool.
significance of the letter D?
The will of D.
The Wheel of D.
Luffy, you've
Monkey
got
D.
his
Luffy.
dad, you've got Garp. It's all these people
Rocks
have
D.
a very
Not the Rocks D.
Strong.
Okay, Inaki.
arguably unbreakable will.
Rocks
It's a
D.
mystery.
Maybe it stands for dreamers.
Or donuts.
Or donuts. That's the most Luffy answer. Donuts.
The Grand Line. I think our resident map reader would be the most
Yes.
exacted person
What
to
was
answer
the line?
this
What was
question.
the line? The Grand Line is a treacherous stretch of ocean filled with bigger pirates, bigger monsters, ripe with riches, and like ready for the picking or something like that.
Oh, you were it was so like
close.
That sounded like the line from the trailer.
Who are the 7 warlords of the sea?
Oh, I thought we were about to start naming off names. Like, hold on, man. Start naming
Do
them
the
off.
things that Marines can't do. Pirate mercenaries.
Basically.
So I know a few. Mihawk, Crocodile. Well, that's right. Crocodile. Jinbei.
Gecko Moria.
Gecko Moria. Boa Hancock. Kuma. Maybe you guys can answer what's the 7th.
Doflamingo.
I cannot remember. Oh,
Doflamingo.
He forgot Flamingo, bro. That to me is so in character for Luffy, though. I forgot about the Flamingo guy, alright? Tell him again, Usopp.
Gold D. Roger.
I know this one actually. Maybe.
Who's stronger than Roger?
Rocks D7.
I think it's subjective. Is Yamato.
Yamato.
She's from Wano.
She's from Wano.
And she's Kaido's
They-
daughter?
This has been something I've been like reading on Twitter because there's such a massive discourse. Is Yamato a girl? Is Yamato a boy? Because in the manga they use male pronouns, but then there's a certain point where they say, oh, it's Kaido's daughter. Yamato is a very powerful hockey user. Ice powers also. Yeah.
That was a really good way of getting through that situation, Emily Rudd. Shout out to Nami for being the genius in our crew to navigate through that question. True.
Are the 4?
Oh, come on. You know who I am. Look at my boy.
Who could the fourth one be?
You're looking at him.
Could it be? I guess we'll
You're looking at him. That's a massive spoiler, though. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. That is a massive spoiler, bro. Yeah, casually. Buggy, Luffy, Blackbeard, and Shanks. It's like, oh, what happened to Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom? Who knows?
Monkey D. Luffy is hot.
Red-haired Shanks, the coolest pirate
Better believe
ever.
it. The coolest pirate ever.
Mill Village. Usopp's lies come true?
Yes. Every time.
D. Luffy's parents.
Monkey D. Dragon.
Monkey D. Dragon Unknown.
Teamwork.
What point?
Hey. That's right.
At first at the Baratier, then with the Straw Hat crew.
What is Zoro's dream? To be the world's greatest swordsman?
Already there.
Is the most wanted man.
Oh, that is Monkey D. Dragon.
That's Pops.
What is Sanji's dream?
Find the Orb Blue.
What is the name of Luffy's...
Which one?
Ace.
Orca the Ace. Who is the strongest swordsman in One Piece besides Zoro?
Why is Frankie a cyborg?
Hold on, bro. Wait. Yo, I had to pause the video, man. This man, Luffy, looks over and he's like, yo, who's the strongest swordsman in the world? Besides my guy. You know what I mean? Besides my guy. Yo, that's the most Luffy thing of all time. Like, yo, who's boxing my boy? Who's boxing my boy? We're out here. Who's stronger than Zoro? Bring them all in. Mihawk? They don't want to see my guy. Yeah, I love that. Heike, I really, really love that, man.
Nami love money.
Because money's great.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Who is stronger, Sanji or Zoro?
Oh, come on. Come on.
Let's not all be here all day. All I'll say is I don't need any external weapons.
Look at the bounty.
Look at the bounty.
This was really fun. Wow. We have no more questions.
Yo, that was the most Zoro and Sanji exchange I've ever seen. I don't need external weapons. And the other one say, yo, just look at the bounty, dog. Just look at the numbers. It's the exact same thing that he was clowning him for in chapter 1058, bro. That's hilarious. Yo, man, that was awesome. That was awesome. I just can't wait, man. I can't wait for the live action adaptation. August 31st. We'll be there no matter what. I'm just hoping that we'll have the opportunity to react to the chapter and then the episodes, however we got to split it up, whether we react to a few of them one day, a few of them another day, or however it is we're going to do it. Regardless, I just can't wait, man. I can't wait for that day to come so that we can watch the live action adaptation of One Piece, man, because it feels like so much love is being poured into it, and just being biased, obviously, for having followed the journey of the live action adaptation from its inception up until now, and my connection to the actors and everything that they've done up until this point to not only market the series but to truly showcase how important this is to them, and so I want it to succeed. I really, really want it to succeed, man. I want us to get to the next section, go into Alabasta, see Whiskey Peak, and how in the world they're gonna do Little Garden, Drum Island. Like, man, that set's gonna be crazy. Alabasta, like, bro, let's get it, man. We need it. Inject it. Inject it. So, I can't remember for right now. Gotta support the East Blue. Obviously, such a strong introduction saga to a story. So, I'm looking forward to seeing all of the new fans who are going to be made through this, as well as the individuals who are longtime fans coming back to it in order to introduce it to other people, right? So it's going to be a lot of fun seeing this story told that we already know so well in another medium, and I just can't wait to see what they do, the creative liberties they take, and stuff of that nature. I cannot wait for next week, man. But without further ado, let's get into chapter 1090, which I still can't believe the chapter is titled Kizaru, man. That's such a wild wild chapter name. At the beginning of the chapter, before we get into some of the comments here, it did remind me, somebody pointed this out the other day, of how reminiscent that was to the Fishman Island conversation with Big Mom. It's like, yo, this is same energy Luffy. It doesn't matter if it's Big Mom, if it's Kaido, if it's all of the Gorosei members, or if it's the Messenger-sama. You're gonna learn from me today, man. You're gonna hear from me. And I love that. Shout out to a comment that pointed out the Nami scene here. As a matter of fact, let me read the comment because it was so good. So Straw Hats. Right here. From Alexander Handworker 9760, who states, Nami getting protective over Robin when York tried to intimidate them with comparing this incident to Ohara, and Robin appreciating it in silence made my heart melt. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. That is the Straw Hat dynamics that we appreciate. Stuff that doesn't even need to be said, but because we're of our connection to these characters, we can see it in their faces, right? We can see whenever a character responds and or reacts to a certain situation. That's exactly how they would respond or react to that scenario. And it makes them feel like real people, like real individuals. And it really did warm the heart, man. I love that scene. I really, really love that scene. Nami was like, yo, York, shut your mouth, man. Like, what you got going on? What you got going on? So, thank you, Alexander. Starting off the comments here, well, actually, before I go into that comment, just a really good chapter once again. Enjoyed the momentum. We're back into the swing of things, especially with Kizaru pulling up here at the end. And who else is pulling up with him, who knows? But it's just, an imminent threat is incoming, and that makes it so exciting. I can't wait to read the next chapter and see what's going to come of this. And obviously, there's still a few mysteries up in the air. You know, how are we going to get out of this? Who's going to be there whenever we get to the other side, right? Like on our way to Elbaf, now that we know that's our next destination. Speaking of that, we have a comment here coming from Momo's 4427, who says, Egghead has set up Elbaf multiple times now, and it really gets me hyped up. But I don't think that we can get there that easily. And that's exactly how I feel about it too. Like, what is going to be our journey to get to that point? Not only just with the Straw Hats, but through the series itself. Obviously, around the world, Egghead is going to be crazy. End of Egghead is going to be crazy. Because if the middle of Egghead had all of this stuff taking place, right, that means that the end of Egghead going into Elbaf is, we needed to have the context of all that stuff to understand what's going to happen here in the climax of Egghead, as well as at the end of the arc, transitioning us into Elbaf. So it's like, if we needed to know all that information, what in the flying flagons is waiting for us at the end of Egghead? You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. But man, I can't wait for Elbaf, dude. Like, I'm already preparing myself. I cannot wait. I'm holding off on the reread until we get the opportunity to like know that it's almost next to us. But I can't wait to read through Little Garden again, man, for like the billionth time. Like, I am so excited because, dude, it's an arc that just with time has only gotten better. Especially thinking about it with, you know, not only just as its own story within that larger saga, right? But that really was our first taste all of those years ago at Elbaf, man. And so just looking back on that, how I felt about it at the time, how we all felt about it at the time, and the way that we continue to reference these chapters for an arc that would take place so many years later. So I can't wait to give it another reread or another rewatch in the anime, and then go into Elbaf. It's gonna be so good, man. But Momo says, I'm looking forward to seeing more of Kizaru's character. Maybe we go to flashback. I'm gonna say right now we're getting that flashback. I do. I don't know how long it will be, but it's safe to assume that we are getting that flashback. I also think that Kuma's flashback is hold back because we need to see more current events so that we can fully understand it. I also agree with that 1000%. Similar to why we needed to see the around the world stuff in order to understand what's about to happen here at the end of Egghead / the transition into Elbaf. Egghead is an amazing arc, and your reactions make it even better. Oh no, I appreciate you, man. The streams are only as good as the chapters. You know what I mean? Like, if the chapters are phenomenal, then the comment section and the vibe is gonna replicate that, right? Like, it's going to reflect that it is a magnificent chapter, and he's just been cooking at such a high level, man. Like, Egghead is so good, Momos, man. Thank you so much for that comment. Now let's get into this next comment here from Jalen Kuiper, who says, I think the Bonnie and Kuma flashback will commence when Jay Garcia steps off the boat and confronts her. Seems like a very deliberate setup as an emotional trigger for Bonnie to allow it fluidly to be presented to the audience. Now, I want to use this as a driving force to talk about something that was brought up in the stream by multiple different individuals about the idea that Bonnie is Katerina Devon, right? The Bonnie that we saw in the most recent chapter is Katerina Devon. And even though that is most certainly a path that I could see Oda taking here, I don't think that's the case, personally. And that is just based on what Bonnie said in this chapter. It really made it feel like, after having cried so much, after having gone through what she went through, she's come out of it understanding the situation at hand, in acceptance of what took place. Sure, it hurt, but now having the full story, she is satisfied and no longer wants to take out Vegapunk because she understands what her father's mission was, the thing that we're going to eventually see, right? And so that's the thing that is making me really hesitant on saying that it is not Bonnie. Now, obviously, it very well could be Devon, just based on that very same thing, right? Of, man, how could your mood change so fast? Of like crying here on one end, and right now you're super happy and something like that, right? But I truly believe that Bonnie needed to experience that pain, needed to experience that with her own eyes, get all of that crying out of her system, to finally get over that thing that's been burdening her for so many years. So I'm so curious as to how Oda's going to handle that. But regardless, JL and Kuiper, going into it and interconnecting your comment to that thought, I also believe the Bonnie and Kuma flashback is incoming. I think it's the perfect time, especially if it is going to connect us to something that was stated within this chapter by Garcia, right? So when we cut over to this chapter and we see what St. Garcia Saturn was talking about, think of human lives as nothing more than insects. They will always breed more to make up for any loss, right? And that most certainly is a thought process that is shared not just by St. Garcia Saturn, but by a lot of the Celestial Dragons as well, right? So with that being said, the obvious connections there to the Celestial Dragons, to the oppressors, that we're undoubtedly going to see within Kuma's flashback based on what we saw in the panels that were hinting at it towards the middle of Egghead. What was it, like chapter 1072, 1073, somewhere on there? Based on that, we can come out of it with a few bits and pieces and a few clues as to how this flashback's going to go. And if it does end up going that way, then like you say, what better way than to have it as to St. J. Garcia Saturn gets off the boat and potentially Bonnie seeing Garcia Saturn with those memories. Maybe Garcia Saturn was the individual responsible for a lot of the stuff that happened with Kuma, right? And it's like, oh, you're the one that I really want to box. Not Vegapunk, it's you. And by boxing, I mean you're the one that I want to have a conversation with. Why did you do this to Kuma? What kind of a sick, demented being could do something like this to so many people? And so I'm really, really curious. I'm really, really curious as to if you're right about this, and this is going to be our connection to Garcia Saturn getting off the boat, because obviously with Garcia Saturn, there's so many different plot points that can be addressed and situations that can happen. Obviously, the one that we've been talking about a lot is both the Luffy one and the Robin one. The Robin one makes a lot of sense from a storytelling standpoint, and the Luffy one for me from a hype standpoint. So both of them work, right? But the Bonnie one, that would connect it directly to Egghead Island, to going from this is my threat in Vegapunk to no, this is my threat in St. J. Garcia Saturn. And so there, it would keep it internal, right? To where it would still feel like, yes, this is not only around the world One Piece converging in this one point, but it does have a direct connection to the characters that are here, right? So I like that. I like that a lot. And if Garcia Saturn really was heavily involved with the Kuma plot line and that is what allows Bonnie the trigger to present all of that information that she saw to the audience. I'm down for that 110%. I really am. And whatever gets to the Kuma flashback is going to get us in there. But doing it in this way, like you said, in a very deliberate way, oh, I'd be so down for that, Jalen Kuiper. Just so down for that. Thank you so much for that comment. And then speaking of that, now that we're in the climax of this arc, I have a comment here from Keon YT 5804 who says, curious how much longer people think Egghead will last. 10 chapters, 25, 50, an expeditious escape has been set up and anticipated pretty much since the Lucci fight. Now we even have a definite plan of escape and now a destination. So lots of signs pointing towards it wrapping up quickly. Even Saturn just said he doesn't want this to get dragged out, so both sides intend to be done here quickly, but I believe this could be Oda setting up false expectations that very well could be the case as well. Given how obstacles keep piling up, the huge naval force in play, and how much the narrator hyped up the Egghead incident and the lurking threat of Lafitte and Devon, all the ingredients are there for a huge, shocking, earth-shattering development. Question is, will it be a singular pivotal moment that quickly changes everything, or a slowly unfurling confrontation that builds into something bigger than anyone could have predicted? I'm going down that route right there. Personally, given the pace of the final saga so far, I'm inclined to believe it's the first option, and you very well could be right. Honestly, it could be a combination of the two. So let me answer that question, then I'll go into the how long Egghead would be. So it could very well be that singular pivotal moment that quickly changes everything is the catalyst for that slow unfurling confrontation that builds in something bigger than any of us could have predicted. But that thing is going to lead into, of course, what is going to be the major conflict into the final saga, similar to whenever all those Strats got wiped at the end of Marineford, or Sabaody leading into Marineford, right? So that major key moment is going to be what allows us to have that trajectory, that guidepost of like, oh, now we know how things are going to go from here on out, or at the very least, we're going to have an idea of like, okay, this is how we're going to connect to this next arc and the following arc after that, right? Like that singular pivotal moment. So interesting, because with that being said, it very well could end within the next 10 chapters. It could. It could. I mean, look at Sabaody. Sabaody is an arc that should have been way longer considering all of the insane obstacles that were presented before them. Same thing with Impel Down. So if Oda wishes to keep this arc 30, 35, 40 chapters, which right now we're at the 30 chapter mark, 35, 40, 45 chapters, he's gonna get out of here soon and go into the transition to the next arc, which we all assume is gonna be Elbaf based on this chapter. So with that being said, it could very well end in the next 10 to 15 chapters. My question is, how will he do that? How will he do that? Because we could very well get an earth-shattering event similar to what took place with the Straw Hats in just 2 chapters. Even in the build-up, of course, was from the rest of the arc. And from chapter 506 to 513, we did have that they leave talking to Rayleigh, they go out towards, the conflict with the Kumas. Kizaru's here, he's wiping out all of the supernovas. But within that short stretch of chapters, we got to see them get annihilated, right? So it very well could be something that takes place within a very short set of chapters, between 7 and 10 chapters, right? And that would kickstart something absolutely insane that would lead us into what we're going to see here in Elbaf and beyond, right? Because we have no idea at this point how those arcs are going to play out. But because of the constant parallels to Sabaody, and because this is the first arc of the final saga, I will 100% believe, regardless of how long it's going to be or how much time we have left, the important thing is your final comment here in that those major key pivotal moments, as well as how this arc is going to cause the dominoes to continue to fall even more than they already have based on the events around the world. We're already seeing the dominoes fall. But we're going to see the change. I mean, bro, the entire world is being connected by certain events. So how that explodes here with the major Egghead incident that's being built up, I cannot wait to see how that is. And that can be done in a very short amount of time considering all the build-up, right? We have gotten to the point to where now we can enter climax mode and go up and like swimwear. If I'm a betting man, I'm going to say 15 chapters. Knowing Oda's pace, not only in here in the final saga, but comparing that to the way in which he's been writing the story in the post time skip to this point, I'm always going to add a few more chapters than what I'm initially anticipated, because he's been taking more time to do certain things within the second half of the story. So I'm going to say 15. I'm going to say 15 because I believe you can tell the insane climax and Egghead incident, the true Egghead incident that we have been building towards, in around 15 chapters. Maybe even less, if he wants to wrap things up even quicker than that. But I'm going to say 15 chapters, and that might include the post-arc heading into Elbaf. So I'm going to say the next 15 chapters, we're going to be done with this arc. But let me know what y'all think about that, because there's still a lot for us to explore, but there's also answers that we can get outside of this arc as well. There's also situations that can lead this arc to end very, very soon, while still keeping the major Egghead incident as like the major key plot point leading us into the next arc, right? Like, we have no idea. There's just so much converging on this one island. I wonder how Oda's going to wrap all this up to have it to where it wraps up here, but then it continues the chain going into the next arc. It's just some really, really interesting stuff right there. But thank you, Kian. So let's go ahead and go into this next comment by Aikawara Hold on, let me pull this up. I can't see. Aikawara Zuchan, who says, oh, okay, hear me out. Giant robot. Everyone's talking about 1v1s, but do you really think that Oda's going to pass up the opportunity to do something really cool with the Vega Force? I really think he's not going to pass up the opportunity. That's going to be so much fun. And plus, remember what Oda said. He's going to have a lot of fun in the final saga. Do things that he wants to do. That is something I know he wants to do. I could be totally wrong, but I think it will have more of a role than just chunking the Sunny like a football. 100%. 100%. Do you know Mayumi Tanaka was the voice of you in Giant Gorge? Yo, I did not know that. That's actually really cool. Oda totally tends to write some giant robot action. Dude. Yes, he needs. Did I say tens? He needs. I'm telling you, I can't see from here because the words are so short. Yeah, Oda totally needs to write some giant robot action. Dude. Oda for sure, and you know he's gonna write that giant robot action. The moment that I saw it, I was like, we might be in for some giant robot action. But now that you bring this up again, we're in for some giant robot action. I need it. I need it. You need it. We all need it. And most importantly, we need to see Luffy, Usopp, and Chopper's reactions to that greatness as well. And I need to see Frankie to look at it, or I need Frankie to look at it so that he can get ideas for the future of the series as well. Because we need our Gundam, man. We need our Gundam, whether it's Gundam, Voltron, Valimar, Armored Core. We need our mech, man. We need it. So if we're gonna go futuristic with it, let's get some giant robot action going, man. I can't wait for that. So absolutely, I am so down for that idea. Now, screw the 1v1s. I'll take the giant robot stuff any day of the week, as long as I get to see at the very least a clash with the boys, right? Luffy and Kizaru, Luffy, Garcia, Saturn, Zoro, Sanji, whoever against whoever. We'll be up in the next somewhere. I've already seen the rest of them box. Let's get some giant robot action. Let's get it, man. So now let's go ahead and look at the next one here. Spork2 comes in with a comment that says, I think a partial reason Luffy seems to apparently be so scared of Kizaru is he sort of recognizes his presence but isn't fully aware of who exactly he is yet. With what happened in Sabaody, I think it brought back that previous fear of hopelessness that he and the Straughts experienced. And now that feeling is sort of resurfacing. That's a great point. It's like, it's the fear of having that scenario repeat itself, right? I don't think Luffy is scared exactly of Kizaru right now, but more so the feelings he once went through 2 years ago. Like, that actually does make a lot of sense, right? Where it's not exactly, and of course Kizaru is a very prominent figure, and even though you're right, you're absolutely right, he might not even know that it's him, but that energy, that vibe, that as someone who has the voice of all things, right, and as somebody who's now very proficient in observation hockey, can pick up on something from very far away. Man, at this point in time, you're absolutely right. It could be the memories of not allowing something like this to happen again. That PTSD kicking in, like some of you guys were saying in the conversation of the stream, of like, wait, I can't allow them to be separated again. You know, I can't allow us to suffer a defeat like that ever again. Whatever needs to happen to ensure that it does not happen again, I will make sure of it. but we're not going to lose again. Not like that. I'm not losing my crew out like that ever again. I love that. I love that because it's so in line with Luffy's character, where he values the life of those that he cares about way more than his own. And he does not want to lose them. That's the one thing, right? He never wants to lose anyone close to him again. So having that imminent threat that might cause such a thing, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great comment, Spork. That's a great, great comment. Now, Praetorus comes in and says, I think Oda is setting up countering Devon with that line about Bonnie's sudden change in mood from Luffy. She probably switched with someone while they were sleeping. Doesn't mean Bonnie is Devon, but maybe she is. The terrifying possibility is if Blackbeard is somehow able to get a hold of the Mother Flame. This is some really exciting stuff. It's not just about being able to destroy an island, but being able to hit anywhere in the world. Exactly. That is the most dangerous part of this ability. Is the fact that it is an island-sized threat. But also that you can take this thing and pinpoint it down like a satellite. Like it's the Hammer of Dawn from Gears. And call it down wherever it needs to be called down. It's insane. It's like a kill streak in Call of Duty, man. It's insane. But hit anywhere in the world. He would have the threat, Big Mom head over Sanji times 1,000,000 to anyone who wanted to take him on. That's a fact. He would have full-blown advantages over everyone. Do you imagine? He goes in to fight whoever it is. Like, let's just say Shanks, for example. It's like, yo, I'm holding this over the East Blue, over your beloved Windmill Village, or I'm holding this over your people in Elbaf. It's like, then we would be like, man, dude, how are we going to get out of this scenario? The Blackbeard equivalent of what Kid did and what Higuma did with holding a gun to one of his friends' heads, except he's not there to protect those individuals. He's somewhere really far away. Similar to Luffy scenario too, where Blackbeard with Luffy, he would present so many different islands. Like, he could have that thing anywhere. I have this thing floating over Alabasta, over Dressrosa, over, wherever his people are, Fishman Island, Wano, where people he truly cares about, obviously Windmill Village, like, over any of those places. And it would be a distraction. Now I really want Blackbeard to get this. It would raise the stakes tremendously. Mother Flames are the Death Stars, yes. Emu is the Emperor, yes. And Garling is Darth Vader. I love all of those. All of those analogies are on point. I think either this arc or Vegapunk's storyline could end with a Death Star run. Oh. Dude, don't even get me started, bro. Yo, if that happens, that would be Zenith fiction. Mission to destroy the Mother Flame. Likely a fight between Shanks and Garling at some point. Brother, speaking to my soul right there. That comment was awesome. Because not only can I definitely see Blackbeard holding the Mother Flame, just based on what we've seen already within the story. Of course, how could Blackbeard and Shanks not come down to someone holding a weapon to his friends, but he can't do anything about it this time? You know what I mean? Like, yo, that's just, it's genius. So if he gets the Mother Flame, absolutely, I would love to see that happen, man. It's so cowardice. It's cowardly. It's malicious. It's evil, but it's so piratey, so Blackbeard that I can most certainly. Anything means necessary to accomplish my dreams. Anything means necessary, man. Dog, I would love that. It would hurt so much seeing the characters have to deal with those situations, have to make those decisions on the spot, but for the story, it would be phenomenal. And bro, Shanks Garling? Are you kidding me? And a Death Star run? Oh man, injected into my veins, bro. I would be so down for all of that. All of that plus 100, bro. We have to go into the Mother Flame and destroy it? Oh, that'd be Zenith fiction, bro. Are you kidding me? Now, yo, Praetorus, man. 100%, dude. Thank you, Praetorus. Gold Slash comes in and says, Coach, sorry to have missed the stream. No worries, man. Rob Gucci. Dude, Robert D. Lucci was on something different this chapter, man. The rat. This guy is giving all the info out. Did he forget that he was part of the Dream Team? He gave up the Dream Team, man. I wonder what his name really is. It'd be crazy if he started his own pirate crew to start dealing out his dark justice or forms a type of Neo Cypherpole. Something like Z and his Neo Navy. That would be very fascinating. Since he already seemed a little suspicious about the world government, I'm wondering how loyal he truly is. Me too. And me too, right? And it makes him more compelling because now we know he's not just switching sides to Luffy's side, right? From a character standpoint, he's still wobbling. Where yes, he's giving information as a rat of the WG, but also he fought alongside Luffy whenever it was required of him, right? So these events and seeing what's currently happening, what could happen here in the island as well with Garcia Saturn and Kizaru, you know, they're not going to care about, like Garcia Saturn brought up in this chapter, they're not going to care about the human lives at hand. So seeing, having Lucci experience that firsthand with his own two eyes is going to be another thing, like the Lucia incident, is going to cause him to question. And it's going to create, continue to create a really strong internal conflict for Robert D that I'm looking forward to seeing play out until the very end. Because like you said, there's multiple different ways that Oda can go about giving him a certain role at the end of the story maybe we weren't expecting. Whether it be a Neo-Navy, whether it be leaving the Marines entirely, going to another faction, we have no idea. Also, I'm hoping it shows Zoro found Bonnie, and I'm throwing it out there, Dragon and the Rev showing up chapter 1100. Let's get it. Alright, if that's the case, we're staying here for 25 chapters. 25 chapters, baby! Unless they just show up at the end like Shanks did in Marineford. Then we can end it quick. It's Royal Rumble time. This man Dragon needs to take it to WrestleMania so we can fight Emu for the title. Please, agenda piece. That's my agenda too. Let's get it. Agenda piece on full display. Let's get it, man. WrestleMania season. And it's Luffy Toon season. Reading will have a good one, Coach. Thank you, brother. Yeah, man. I still need that Dragon and Emu confrontation, man. Please. Please. But Zoro finding Bonnie is something I really want to happen as well, to continue that thread from Sabaody. So that would be really nice. I hope we do get that at some point in time, especially since we know the connection as well, thanks to the Bark, with Kuma and Zoro too. So we need them to have a conversation. We need Zoro and Bonnie to have a conversation. So definitely needs to take place soon. Hopefully. And that is it for this week's Afterthoughts. I apologize for any comments that I was not able to get to. Talked about some good stuff this week. Live action, chapter 1090. Very, very, very excited for what the future has in store for both the manga, or for all three. The manga, the anime, and the live action stuff, man. It's gonna be a blast. Man, I wonder how close to the end of Egghead are we going to be when Egghead starts getting animated at the pace that we're going right now. Regardless, I'm so excited for the Egghead adaptation, but I also am gonna be so sad to see Wano done too, man. It's like it's a dilemma I have in my heart right now. It's like I don't want Wano to end, but I can't wait to start Egghead in the anime because there's so much peak there. But regardless, we're gonna be in like swimwear. That's right, man. Now that I'm thinking back to Goldslash's comment, chapter 1100 is right. It's right on our doorstep. It's right there. What are we gonna get in chapter 1100, bro? Is it Dragon and the rest pulling up? Man, on fire. That'd be so peak. But regardless, I will see y'all. Have a good one. Take care. One Piece greatness. Egghead, man. It keeps delivering.